So since everyone is still kinda bummed out about the GTA Not So Definitive Edition, and we're all worried about the announced GTA 4 remaster, I thought I'd try and cheer everyone up with a video on the best GTA clone of all time, The Simpsons Hit and Run. Love 'em or hate 'em, everyone knows who The Simpsons are. An animated comedy show about a dysfunctional family that is older than most newly found parents. So what is this game, and why do fans go crazy for it? Well, the simplest way to describe it is that it plays much like a Grand Theft Auto game, set in the Simpsons universe. This means you have a somewhat open world where you can drive around in a bunch of different vehicles, completing a variety of missions and objectives. Developed by Radical Games, the game released in 2003 for the PS2, Xbox, GameCube and Microsoft Windows, selling over 1 million copies in 2004, and scoring really high reviews, getting an 8 out of 10 from IGN. This game features many hallmarks of the series. For example, all of the characters that appear are voiced by their original voice actors. It features its own unique plot that was written by the show's writers, along with a lovable soundtrack that features reiterations from the show, as well as brand new pieces that fit in seamlessly. So let's jump in and see what all the fuss is about. Right, so the plot starts off pretty basic. It's a typical day in Springfield and a new soda called Buzz Cola is being sold. But out of nowhere, a bunch of WASP cameras and mysterious black vans start showing up and spying on everybody. Feeling paranoid, Homer tracks down the vans to Mr. Burns' mansion, finds out that they're merely pizza vans. All the while this is going on, Bart is trying to find a copy of the new edition of Bone Storm, but everyone has either bought them or destroyed them. Kind of feels like the release of Manhunt all over again. He eventually discovers that Professor Frink has all of the remaining copies, because he needs them to power his latest invention, the Truckosaurus. After helping complete the beast, Bart has an encounter with it, only to be captured by aliens right after.
That escalated quickly.
As a result, Lisa sets out to find her brother as quickly as possible. After following a bunch of clues, she eventually finds him, but his brain is more scrambled than the eggs your dad had for breakfast. Determined to get to the bottom of this, Marge seeks out some answers, and eventually discovers that the new cola is the source of the brainwashing, and is making people go almost as crazy as Simps did when Belle Delphine returned to the internet. She destroys as much of the cola that she can, and now it's up to Apu to find out where the cola is coming from. Yeah, you get to play as Apu in this game. After helping Snake with his community service, Apu finds out that the cola trucks are registered to the museum, so he and Bart race over there to find out just who is behind this. They discover that the villains behind this whole thing are Kang and Kodos. Turns out that the aliens have been secretly filming an intergalactic reality show in Springfield called Foolish Earthlings. It's intended to entertain the citizens of the galaxy with the stupid and foolish behaviour of humans. It turns out that their show's ratings have been plummeting, unlike what would happen if they filmed it in 2021, I'm sure. They decide to distribute laser guns around the town and pour the evil cola into the water supply. Now at first, Apu is determined to stop them, while Bart is all for it, thinking that it would be hilarious. And you know what? He's right, it would be. But at the start of the very next level, Apu chickens out, and now it's up to Bart to get rid of the lasers. After he does so, he races to the Duff Brewery with Homer to stop the aliens from putting the cola in the water supply. Turns out they're too late, and now that the cola is in the water supply, it's going to resurrect the dead and flood the whole of Springfield with zombies. Yikes. Now it's up to Homer to save everyone. We're fucked. After making sure that his family is safe, Homer discovers that the alien ship is hovering over the school playground, sucking up trespassers, kinda like how your mum treats would-be thieves. Homer then finds out that the alien's weakness is nuclear waste, so he gets a map from Mr. Burns to the locations of where he buried the stuff all over Springfield, even though you always collect it from the power plant. Anyway, after getting enough of the green goo to the ship, it blows up and kills the aliens, and now everyone is saved. As you can see, it's a wacky story, but it works well enough, and the characters generally react to all the situations how you would expect them to. Once you've beaten the game, you have the option to go back in and play through with all of your unlockables, and find all the items and secrets that you've missed, as well as play any mission you want. Now I'm not sure what engine this game runs on, but it does manage to pull off the same classic look of the cartoon, but it does so with a 3D look. You still get the doughy look of all the characters, and the cutscenes are rendered pretty well. The frame rate is capped at 60 FPS, but depending on what platform you're playing it on, it might feel more like 30. Still, it runs pretty well and you'll next to never have any frame rate issues. The animations for the in-game models are hilarious. They've got a few different body animations, but only their lower jaws move when speaking, and it's really funny to watch. It's like everyone has lockjaw or something. Gameplay is broken down to either driving or walking in a third-person perspective. You can accelerate and brake with either the A and B button, or the triggers if you prefer. You can also use a handbrake for some sick drifts. While on foot you can hold down the B button to sprint, which also has infinite stamina. Run for long enough and you'll even hear the characters moan about not being in shape. There's also a few areas that involve platforming, but the camera that follows you can have a bit of a fit, which can make some of the areas a little tricky. Thankfully, you can swing it in any direction with the right thumbstick. This comes in handy because every character has a basic melee attack that you can use by pressing X, or a super attack that you can execute during a double jump. You get to play as the 4 main members of the Simpsons family, and even Apu for one level, which is a bit random, but hey, I'm all for it because he has some of the funniest lines in the game. Just like in GTA, if you can perform a stunt jump, the camera will switch to a more cinematic angle. When driving to an objective, you'll see a bunch of arrows pointing you in the direction of where you need to go, and you even get a radar in the bottom corner, helping you navigate. By the way, this game has a bunch of shortcuts for you to take, all of which are a major help, some of them being essential for the final levels of the game, so if you see one, be sure to take it. Now I said that the game is open world, and it kind of is, but it's more like a circuit/sandbox, as the levels aren't all that big. In order to allow you to explore, the game has 3 different sandboxes, putting you in a different one each time you start a new level. To keep things fresh, they often tweak the levels to make them less repetitive. Like there may be a new route for you to take, or an additional location that you couldn't previously enter. Now exploration is encouraged, as this is how you find unlockables and buzz cola coins, which are your main form of currency, but we'll talk about those later. Missions are broken up into races, timed events, collectathons, demolition, or a combination of all. Each level has 8 missions in total, 7 story related and an optional bonus mission. To start a mission you simply walk up to the corresponding character and talk to them. Now most of the missions are pretty good, but there are some that are just pure cancer. Everyone remembers that one from Apu's level, where you've got to collect the garbage for Snake. And the final level essentially repeats one mission 4 times, just getting a little bit harder each time. And it's bollocks. You've got to be careful though, because you can cause a pretty hefty amount of property damage, which fills up a meter around your radar. Break too many signposts or run too many people over, and you'll achieve a hit and run, essentially a GTA Wanted level. The cops in this game absolutely fucking hate you too. To get rid of them, just outrun them until your meter runs out. If they catch you, you lose 50 coins, and that might not seem like much, but when you consider that some of the collectibles cost upwards of 700 to 1000 coins, you'll want to hang on to them wherever you can. The soundtrack for this game was composed by the same blokes who worked on the show, featuring a bunch of new songs and reiterations of the show's music. Every character and mission type has their own theme for when you're driving around, and they fit perfectly. The music that plays during the final level where the zombies have taken over is pretty spooky and Halloween themed, and it's awesome. The music for the first level is really homely, and it's my personal favourite. Some of the missions involve Cletus, and that banjo theme that plays is a banger, and it never gets old. Now this game has a bunch of collectibles you can unlock, one of which is the cars. Each level has 8 different cars in total, with a default one being automatically given to you at the start of the level. These include the family sedan, which is now a convertible for some reason, the Honor Roller, a Malibu Stacy convertible for Lisa, the Canyonero, Apu's Longhorn, Bart's Red Ferrini, and Homer's 70s sports car. The rest are unlocked in a variety of ways, 3 of which can be bought outright, 2 from Old Gil, and the 3rd from a random character somewhere in the map. One of which is the car that Homer built, which actually has some of the best stats in the game, along with the best sounding horn in any driving game ever. Each level has a secret car that you can find exclusive to that specific level. You've got the rocket car, the monorail, a boatmobile, a quad bike that handles even worse than the ones in San Andreas, a beast of a monster truck, a movie car, and even a little RC car. I've got to wonder how Homer is able to fit inside that thing. Maybe it's like the TARDIS where it's bigger on the inside. The bonus missions for each level also unlock you a new vehicle belonging to whoever gave you the mission. What's cool about these things is sometimes if you use a vehicle belonging to someone else, they'll appear in the driving seat, and hearing two different characters cracking different one-liners in response to your actions is very entertaining. The other way in which you can unlock a new car is the races. To select what car you want, you simply walk over to one of the numerous phone booths scattered throughout the world, and from there you select the car you want. If your car's damaged, you simply drive over these little wrenches, and it instantly refills your car's health back to full. Now there are 4 races per level, one of which is a wager race that is run by Louis from the Mafia. You bet a set amount of coins and do a time lap as fast as possible of the map. Beat the current record and you win a payout. The other 3 are hosted by Milhouse, Ralph and Nelson. Each one of these races varies. One is a time trial, another is a lap race against 2 NPCs and a story character, and the third is a single lap race against 1 character. Beat all 3 races and you unlock a new car. Now the best way to earn coins in this game is by destroying the wasp cameras and these fridges and crates of Buzz Cola. You've got to be careful with the wasps though, as they can zap you, and if they do, you'll lose some of your coins, and then you'll only have a certain amount of time to pick them up before they disappear. In later levels they get shields, meaning they take 2 hits to take out. They'll also fire a rapid shot laser, and move around at the speed of light. I mean, look at this arso right here on the last level. He's moving so fast that the camera can't keep up. Now if you're going for 100% completion, then I would highly recommend that you only get the required vehicles and costumes first time round. This is because wasps and cola boxes don't respawn, and you will eventually have to grind out your coins by either destroying cars, shortcut glass, or by doing the betting races. Aside from the cars, you can also unlock different costumes for all of your characters, all of which are ones you've seen them wear in the show. Homer and Bart are played twice throughout the game, and their outfits don't carry over into other levels, which is a bit of a shame, but they do get new ones. You can also interact with certain objects in the environment called gags, and even find collector cards, which again, all of which make references to the show. Find all the cards in a level, and you unlock a new track for this game's multiplayer mode. Oh yes, this thing even has a multiplayer mode. Find every card in the game, and you gain access to an exclusive Itchy and Scratchy episode.
And don't get your stinky fingers on them, fatty.
In the main menu, you have the option of entering a multiplayer race mode with up to 3 other players, using the cards and characters from the game. This little mode is pretty fun, and even offers its own unique camera angle to play from. Aside from that, you can also use a bunch of cheat codes in the options menu. This gives you things like new camera angles, faster cars, and even a red brick car that replaces all the secret ones. Nobody tell Lego. This game is so brimming with charm that even the design of the main menu changes depending on what date you're playing it on. Like on October 31st for instance, it changes to a Halloween theme. Play on December 25th and it becomes Christmassy. Thankfully, there is a cheat code for this too if you want to see all of them. Now, The Simpsons Hit and Run isn't a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't reinvent anything and uses mechanics and tropes that most gamers are going to be familiar with. But it is brimming with charm and is without a shadow of a doubt the best Simpsons game ever made. Whether or not you're a fan of the show is irrelevant, because this is a game that can be picked up and enjoyed by anyone. Now I captured all my footage for this video on an Xbox, but I would actually recommend that you guys play this thing on the PC if possible. Not only does it look better, and has the added bonus of playing all the cutscenes in widescreen, but this thing is in a similar vein to games like Doom and Skyrim, because it has been kept alive thanks to the talented modding community, and there are some fantastic mods out there, one of which is the Connected Maps mod, which seamlessly combines all 3 into one, making for a much more open world experience. There's also mods that have their own missions, with new cars and costumes to unlock, and there's even some that let you play as other characters. But regardless of what platform you play this thing on, The Simpsons Hit and Run has a ton of replay value, and it's one of those games that I keep coming back to, just so I can re-experience its charming atmosphere. As always, thanks for watching, and be sure to stick around if you want to see me babble on about more games in the future. And don't forget to work hard and play harder. GG.